In this video, we're going to go over some basic anatomy of the back, some exercise anatomy for the back. We're going to cover latissimus dorsi and teres major. Hello everyone, my name is Mike Cola and I've been a fitness trainer and gym owner for over 25 years. And if this is your first time here and you really want to learn how to develop and build your body along with me, hit that subscribe button. I put out videos like this every single week. Okay, let's get right to it. Let's go over the basic anatomy of latissimus dorsi, and then we're also going to cover teres major, which is some people call the little helper to the iliac. It has a very similar function. I'll show you where these muscles are attached to on the skeleton. I'll show you what their functions, like how they move the body around, and then we'll give you some examples of how you can take this knowledge, bring it to the gym, and maybe improve your back training. Okay, let's do latissimus dorsi first. Okay, it attaches to the humerus, your arm bone, but it attaches to the inside of the bone. So that's a big indicator right now, one of its functions. It's actually, when it contracts, when it shortens, it actually internally rotates the humerus. You'll notice that sometimes if you see people do a lat pull down with a wide grip at the gym, that their elbows pop out, meaning that they're internally rotating their shoulders. That just says that when the lat's contracting, when latissimus dorsi is contracting, it's internally rotating the humerus. So keep that in mind. So it attaches there, then it runs and it hits this inferior angle of your scapula. It kind of attaches right here on the scapula. Some people it doesn't do that, but for a lot of people it does, okay? Then via like a big fibrous like tendon, it attaches to the lower thoracic vertebrae. There are 12 thoracic vertebrae. Latissimus dorsi attaches to maybe around, say, T7 to T12. There's always a little bit of variability from person to person, but let's say T7 to T12, lower thoracic vertebrae. And then it also attaches to the ilium. There's iliac crest of the ilium, like the top of your pelvis. But look at it like this. This is a big fibrous, like kind of like fascia tendon. So the muscle will run down and it'll attach right into this big thick tendon. So if you see those really lean muscular people from the back, you'll see that the lat is here, but this fibrous tendon is kind of where the spinous processes and right down where the ilium is right here, okay? Now, when it also comes to teres major, a lot of people say that it's the little lat's helper because it has such a similar function to the lat, but it's a much smaller muscle, but obviously important, right? So it attaches to the same spot as the latissimus dorsi right here in front of the humerus. So it's also an internal rotator. And then it attaches to this like outer edge of the posterior part of the scapula right here. This is teres major. It works very similar to latissimus dorsi. Now, so don't confuse this with teres minor. So teres minor, attaches to the scapula here too, but that it goes to the anterior part of the humerus. Okay, I'm going to link up a video I did about the rotator cuff muscles. Great video to check out. So teres minor is an externally rotator, part of the rotator cuff group, whereas teres major is an internal rotator and works in conjunction with the lat, with your big back. Okay, so what's the primary function of these muscles? Well, obviously, like we talked about, they do internal rotation, right? They internally rotate. They also extend the arm, extend the shoulder. So for example, if your arm's here to pull your arm back down under tension, latissimus dorsi and teres major is doing that. Okay, that's another primary function. And then it also does, for example, adduction. It's going to pull your arm into your side. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to like fully shorten latissimus dorsi, I would straighten my arm, I would internally rotate it, and then I would extend it. And then actually, this is a great way to do isometrics to like really strengthen latissimus dorsi at the end range of motion, which is great for shoulder stability. I did another great video on that too. I'm going to link that up as well. So we're going to internally rotate, we're going to push back, and you're going to hold that for say 5 seconds. That's a great way to fully contract the lat and really stabilize it and increases strength. Okay. Another way to train the lat is I love all those basic movements, in the gym, like lat pull down, for example, pull-ups, like chin-ups, things along the lines of that. The other classic movements are like seated rows. But here's the big difference between a seated row and doing a lat pull down. When you're doing a seated row, just think, you're not fully elongating the muscle. You're getting a great contraction. You're shortening latissimus really well in teres major, but you're not really fully elongating. That's why you want to do both. Like for example, when you're doing a lat pull down, see, first you're fully elongating latissimus, and you're getting a nice contraction. That's why you always want to do a combination of movements. You want to do some like cedar row type movements, and you also want to do like lat pull downs or pull-ups or chin-ups or things along the lines of that. And another big thing to take into consideration when you're training your back is that when you're doing these compound movements, you know, like cedar rows and pull-ups and pull-downs, they can involve the bicep. Now, the bicep is always going to be a weaker link to the back, to the lat. Meaning that if you're doing, say you're doing a lat pull down, you know, with a decent amount of weight, you're working hard, your big, thick, strong lat is probably not going to fatigue before your biceps do. Your biceps are probably going to give away sooner. So there's a technique called pre-exhaustion. I'm going to link up another video I did about pre-exhaustion, but let me explain it briefly now to you. What you would have to do to eliminate the weak link of your bicep is to do a lat exercise that doesn't involve your biceps. And one of my favorites are those cable pullovers. For example, you know, you grab the ropes and you pull down with straight arms. That's a great, you know, extending the arm, getting a great lat contraction. You pause, come up nice and slowly. So you did a whole set there, your lats are like really tight, fatigued, and then you can go, for example, to a cedar row movement or to a lat pull down. So you pre-exhausted your back. So then when you go to a compound movement, like a seated row or a lat pull down, your biceps are fresh and strong, and you can really pump up the back. You get an amazing pump using pre-exhaustion. Okay, well, I hope you like these tips. And this is just the basic anatomy of the lat and teres major. You know, if you did like the video, you know, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And remember, you know, if you really want to learn how to build your body along with me, and I've been doing this for like 25, 30 years now, hit the subscribe button. I put out videos like this all the time. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day.